Good morning, everyone. I'm Barbara Hawkins Dixon,
And I'm Darlene Mayman.
and we are the authors of Substance of Building a Healthy Relationship.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Today, we're going to do a topic that is very sensitive to most people. This month of October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So, this is the topic that we're going to talk about because a lot of people don't want to talk about this. A lot of people keep quiet about it. But being a victim of domestic violence, I wanted to share just one story that really woke my eyes up a couple of years ago. I had Clorox bleach thrown in my eye. And that situation right there woke me up to realize that I had to change my lifestyle and the way that I was living and get out of that situation. So that's why we bringing up this subject today because domestic violence is serious. Some people make it out of it. I'm one of the survivors, but some people don't make it through it. Some women are killed every day, and as we speak, someone is being abused right now. So that's why we're on our subject today about domestic violence to give you an awareness of it and let you know what to look for and ways of that you can get yourself out of that situation. Barbara.
Yes, that's a very serious situation to be in, and we want to try to help empower women to not get comfortable in a domestic violence relationship. You cannot tell a lot of times unless it's physical abuse is from the outside that a woman is being abused because she hides it very well when she wants to keep it a secret. But you have to realize hiding it is only making your situation worse. You have to seek someone you could trust, whether it's professional help, someone you can confide in, a friend, a family member, someone. Because as long as you keep it a secret, you giving the abuser, you making the abuser feel like you keeping it a secret so they could keep abusing you. So you have to, wise up. We know it's a sensitive, subject, but a lot of people need to hear it. And even as we speak, women's are quietly going through this situation and don't know how to get out of it. Or they feel they so much in love at this point that they uh, don't want to get out of it thinking that the person is going to change. But that's a big mistake. You have to learn that if the first hit is your sign that you need to get out of that relationship because that's a control situation and that's showing violence from that other party. So if you get out of it before you get so deeply into it, it makes it much easier to leave that situation. And also, we want to bring to your attention that uh, domestic violence is not just physical abuse, it's mental, verbal, emotional abuse. It's different types of abuse. So don't be so quick to judge someone because you feel they have been through a physical uh, abuse. Uh, what are you going through? Is your relationship 100% healthy? Are you having these problems of emotional abuse? And so before you put judgment out there on someone else, evaluate your situation that you're not speaking on. When people's in this situation, they need support. That's what helps them come out of the situation. If you being judgmental about it, you is crushing their self-esteem even more. So, be a listening ear. Give advice, not just advice, but good advice. Like if it was you, if you was in that situation. Be, have empathy for people instead of being judgmental. Darlene.
Yes, I agree with you on that, Bob, because a lot of times people that's in that situation, they don't want to talk about it because they know, when they speak on it, people will judge them and be like, well, why you keeping yourself in that situation? Or girl, you crazy for still being with that person and they doing that to you. Instead of understanding and listening, instead of judging, that's why it's kept quiet and they don't want to say anything because they don't want you looking at them and saying, looking at them in a certain way, like that girl's crazy or that girl's stupid for dealing with something like that. Because you have to realize a lot of women stay in that situation because they're scared, because they're being threatened, or they're being threatened, or that the childrens are being threatened, and they telling them not to say anything or someone's going to get hurt. So a lot of times that is why they don't say anything. But when they trying to talk to you about it, you got to listen. Sometimes just listen. And if you don't have anything positive to tell them, they don't want to hear you judging them or calling them stupid or whatever, or why you dealing with that. You got to listen to what's going on because in their own way, they ask you for help. They just don't know how to seek it, Barbara.
And another point want to make, domestic abuse does not have a certain age range.
Sure.
People seems to think that it's just the younger generations that are going through this, but that's so far from the truth, because you could be in a relationship even though you know better. You could be in a relationship where it's like I say, it's verbal abusive. It's different kinds of abuse. So you might know better, but you still find yourself in that situation, and you be asking yourself, how did I get here? How did I allow this to happen? Why didn't I flee when this first started happening? But you give the person the benefit of the doubt, or thinking that you could change that person. Oh, he or she won't do that again. But when the first time should have been the only time, because you should have been strong enough to leave the situation then before you got all emotional tied into the relationship. And sometimes it do change, but it change from uh to the worst, because whereas might have been one hit every now and then it change and it turns into a constant everyday thing. And so you have to be aware, and you have to understand that you deserve better, and that you can no longer tolerate the disrespect of yourself and of your body. So it goes back to the self-esteem. Have enough high, high self-esteem so that when things happening that is not right, it's easier for you to walk away from it. Darlene.
I agree with you, but a lot of times, and I'm going to say from my experience, Barbara, it comes with your self-esteem because I stayed in it for a long time before I realized that after that bleach was put in my eye, that was like 11 years later when I realized to get out of it. So I think a lot of times it's easy to say to tell a woman that you can get out of it and just walk away. But all situations are different, you know, because sometimes women stay in that situation due to finance, or it's with the kids, or they don't have nowhere else to go or nowhere else to take the kids. And that's why they stay in that situation like they do. But it has to take, you know, for the woman to really realize that enough is enough. I had to actually look at myself in the mirror with a patch on my eye to realize I could have been dead right now, or I could have been blind right now. But look how long it took me to see that before I got up out of that situation. So, like you said, it has to take the woman to really just say enough, and enough is enough. And that's what I had to do, Bob.
Over the years, have heard of, have, saying this is nothing that have just, started happening. This been happening for generations, generations, and generations. But it was kept, quiet. It wasn't, uh, people's wasn't taking it as serious as they are today. And so it's a good thing that, with this being Domestic Violence Awareness Month, it's a good subject to talk on because we don't know who is watching this live. Who is going through this silently and need to hear words of inspiration, to know that there's a way out. It's a lot of different organizations that could help you. You're not going through this alone. To reach out. If you don't reach out, you can't get help. Confide into someone, because if you don't, you will continuously be abused, and you don't want that. We don't want that for you. And
Right.
so you're stronger than that. Whoever is going through it, whether it's a, a woman or a man, because men's get abused
Yes.
just as well. How
Yes.
many violent women is it out there that's hitting
Yes.
on their
On
husband
this,
or their spouse?
yes.
So anyone could be a victim of it. And so we just trying to and empower you and give you words of wisdom of different things that you could do, and signs to identify when it is, when you are in behavior. When
Yes.
someone cannot talk to you in a maturely way, it always have to be a shouting match. That's abuse.
Yes.
When it's one sided, whereas you could hear them out, but then when it's your time to speak, they don't want to hear you, or they get angry because you're trying to express your opinion when you was patiently sitting there waiting, listening to their opinion. That's toxic. That's not healthy in a relationship. When someone have to get angry and start throwing things around because they don't like what you're saying, they throwing stuff around trying to prevent, they really want to hit you, but they trying to prevent they stuff from hitting you by hitting the doors, hitting the walls, different things like that. Basically having a tantrum, So, when that is happening in your relationship, it's abusive. It's just a matter of time before you become that door, and you become that wall, or that vase hit you instead of the wall. And so when that's happening, to get out of it, because it only gets worse. It's always, we think is no one in our corners, to hear us out, to understand what we're going through, or but it's someone out there you could confide in, whether it's a friend, uh, a minister, uh, the doctor's office, a physician. Confide in someone that could lead you into the right direction. There's so many different shelters for battered women, and children. So you don't have to stay. You have your options, but you have to learn how to stop making excuses for the actions. We use you stay in a relationship for children. You stay in there because you don't have anywhere else to go. When the truth is you have somewhere to go, even if you have to go to a hospital or go to the police station and say that you are being abused and you need out of it. They will place you in a women's shelter, to help you, to guide you until, a better situation where you will be around people that are going through the same thing that you are, where you could give each other strength, share your stories to help somebody else.
True. And I
Darlene?
think, yeah, that is true what you're saying, but we also have to look at, like you just said, about going to the police station and making reports and anything. Now, that gives a woman something to think about too, because you have women that have done that, Barbara. They've been through the process of uh, getting themselves away and, filling out a domestic violence report and things like that, and getting themselves situated in a safer place, and still wind up getting hurt, or still wind up being killed from that person. So it's a something that's really, that's why this topic is so important, because you never guaranteed to be safe. You can do all those things that they tell you to do, and you think that you're okay, and then something still happens to that person. So that, and people see that, women see that, and they be like, well, what's the point? Why am I going to say anything? Because it's darn if I do, darn if I don't. If I get out of it, I'm still in jeopardy of being hurt or being killed, or someone close to me being hurt. So it's this topic is really sensitive, because when you look at all the things and you look at all the statistics and you look at the news and you see how they say, the woman was in this situation, she got out and then everything was good, and then the person still came back and found them either on their job or at their house or on the streets, and they just hurted them or killed them. So it's really something to think about. Are you safe? Are you safe? That's the question to ask. If you go through all that, are you still guaranteed that nothing's going to happen to you? Uh,
Well, that's true. I can understand that. But I think a lot of it come in too, Darlene, is when uh the abuser realizes that you fear them. When they see that you actually fear them, then that gives them more power, to keep abusing, because they know that you're too scared to get out of it, because you thinking all of these things gonna happen. But at the same time, if even if you leave, you have that fear. But if you stay, the same thing is gonna happen. So I would rather take my chances of fleeing than to stay,
yes,
because you
yes,
know what's happening while you with that mate. And so if you flee, you have I feel that you have a better chance. Yes, it's a lot of peoples out here have that mentality where if I don't have you, ain't nobody gonna have you, even though they are the abuser. But you cannot let that fear, you cannot live in fear. It it drains you mentally just as well. Like I say, your heart and your brain signals your whole body. And so when you in an abusive relationship, it's affecting both.
Mhm.
And so you just, I know it's hard. Uh, I never been in a physical abusive relationship, but I could only imagine. And I could only have sympathy and empathy for the woman or man that's going through this, because I can imagine, the fact of living every day in fear, you scared to voice your opinion because it's gonna turn into anger, and you're scared of getting hit. You're scared to say certain things or move a certain way. You always on defense. It's like you have to, every time you say something, cover your face or something instead of thinking you're going to get straight. And so I could imagine that's a hard situation to be in. And, I just have sympathy and empathy, and I just hope that they will find their inner strength to, you know, be able to leave the situation.
True. Yeah. Because I found myself in like an emotional roller coaster. It took for me to get counseling to get back on track and realize that that I was important, that I mattered. And once I got that self-esteem back in myself, that's what helped me, because you got to do something for it, because it can take you through a lot. It can, especially emotionally. You don't know which way to go. And I had to seek help. So that's why it's so important to me. And it hurts my heart when I hear that women go through this, because I had to experience all of that. And it's nothing, it's a terrible feeling to go through that when you don't know what to expect, or you have to be quiet, or you scared you're going to be hit or whatever. And no one needs to go through that. It is so important. And I just, want to put it out there that you don't have to. What women have to realize is that love is not based on being abused. If you being abused, you can't sit there and say that that's love or that person loves you. No, they don't. Because if they did, they wouldn't be doing you that way. So it's so important to love yourself first. Once you love yourself and you realize how important you are, and there's something better out there for you, and you don't have to be treated that way. Once you get to that point, you'll start feeling better about yourself, and you won't let yourself get in those situations anymore, because you're gonna know how to handle it, because you've been through it, and Barbara.
I agree with you, Darlene, that, love's supposed to be a beautiful thing. Love, where we know love starts from yourself. You must self love first. You can't love anyone else if you don't love yourself.
Love yourself.
And so that's what a lot of abusive peoples do. They don't love themselves. And so how could they love you correctly? Everyone is not equipped to love you the way that you think of and know that you deserve to be loved. And so when you see these signals, no matter what's happening, nothing changed. You could talk until you blue, pink, orange in the face. And the same thing happen over and over again. They tells you, okay, this is not gonna happen again. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. They sorry at that particular moment. But then as soon as things don't go their way, or you have an opinion of your own and you want to express it, then it becomes a problem again. And so when you see that it's not changing, keep giving people the benefit of the doubt. Because once they show you who they are the first time, believe it. I have known, someone, whereas they uh, dated someone, was very nice to them, uh, showered them with gifts, and, always took them out on dates, and, everything, flowers. But the very first time that person hit her, she said no. He can't say anything to me. I'm out of this. And she said she really liked it, the guy. She really liked in him. But that first hit, she said it won't be a second one. And she never looked back. And so everyone is not that strong to be able to do that. And it depends on each individual situation. But I just hope that if you out there and you being abused in any type of way, that you find your inner strength to move forward and know you deserve better, that you're not a punching bag.
That's true.
And if
That is,
someone verbally is just abusing you, you know, it's too much to deal with.
so
Okay.
it's so it's saying that we have 1 minute left.
Okay. Yeah, so well we hope you this was a shorter one, but next time next week it'll be um a longer version of it because we will be discussing it more during this domestic violence awareness month. So
Yes.
hope you
And I
enjoy.
Yes, and before we end it, I want to share this with everyone. If there's someone out there that's going through this, and I'm giving you this from experience, love yourself. Know that you don't have to be treated this way. You know, nobody deserves to be hit or punched, whether it be male, female,